As you can see, we are still in celebration mood. Yeah, befitting. It's a brand new year 2013. Despite all the travails of the year 2012, the Dana air crash, the bombings at different locations, the fire outbreaks, even as close as the 26th of December, there was firecracker-induced fire outbreak in Lagos. In fact, some doomsday preachers also told their followers that 12th of December 2012, 12/12/12 was going to be the end of the world. Now, we are here, but only here by His grace, by God's special grace. We are not better than those who have gone. So those of us who are here have to glorify God. We also want to thank you all for standing by us in the year 2012 and plead for more support, for greater support in the year 2013. On today's episode of Tax Matters, we are going to bring you two stories of two events that were held just as 2012 was about to end. The first story is the story of the series of group retreats that were held for 2 days between the 22nd and the 23rd of November 2012 in 3 different locations in the Federal Capital Territory for different groups of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. As we were told, the week before those 3 retreats, one of the other groups of the FIRS, the Support Services Group, had held its own strategic planning retreat. And so 3 were held from 22nd to 23rd of November. And the week after that, the Modernization Group, the 5th group, held its own. One of the 3 groups that held the strategic planning retreat on the 22nd and the 23rd of November is the Direct Report Group, which directly reports to the Executive Chairman.
The group has the responsibility of enforcing rules, standards, and every regulation. Like from our Act, it is only the Executive Chairman that has the right maybe to say where we can carry out enforcement, when to restrain, and so many other things. And that is why, like all those departments that has one thing or the other to do with compliance, monitoring, are all grouped in the Chairman's Office group. We have been given targets. So why we are here to do is that how do we achieve this target? So then we talk of how the organization can achieve the set target. So we are bringing it down to each of our levels.
Acting Executive Chairman Alhaji Kabiru Mashi used the opportunity to underscore the importance of the group retreats and to review the performance of the FIRS in the year 2012 vis-a-vis the set targets.
As we all know, the group retreats are held annually to enable the groups to review their performance for the year, which is about to end against the goals and performance indicators that were set at the beginning of the year. The retreat enables us to identify the areas where we have performed well and also those areas where we did not meet our goals and on which we need to work harder. More importantly, it enables us to determine our strategy and operational plans for the coming year and also determine the key performance indicators that will enable us achieve the goals we have set out. As acting chairman, I must say that I have had full support and cooperation from you all since my appointment, and I must commend you for this. I must also commend you for all the achievements recorded by the service from April to date. Other achievement would not have been made possible without you, your direct involvement, individually and collectively. As you are aware, or some of you may be aware, our target for this year is 3.7 trillion naira. But as at the end of October, I think we have collected 4.2 trillion naira. The effort is appreciated, but we can do better. We promise to hit 5 trillion naira by end of December, and I know we can do it. So please give your maximum support.
And a peep into the future.
We are going to have a call center where taxpayers can call in, ask questions, and get answers.
The acting executive chairman went round all the 3 group retreats held at different locations within the Federal Capital Territory. At the retreat of the Field Operations Group, he had this to say.
There is room to improve. We must improve on what we have already done. For instance, we are now saying, working with customs, CBN and banks, that if you don't have tin, you will not be in business. Up till now, some taxpayers are finding it difficult to get tin. Some of our staff are demanding for money to get tin. Tin is free. And tax control should go out and tell taxpayers, look, don't give anything to anybody, it's free. Because without that tin, you can't bring in the taxpayer.
Earlier in his welcome address, the coordinating director of the Field Operations Group, Mr. S.S. Ogumbeson, had this to say to his foot soldiers, the tax controllers, the regional coordinators, those taxmen and women on the field.
Revenue performance is not the only yardstick for measuring how well we are doing as a tax administration. There are other areas, our comportment, our response to taxpayers, the way we organize our work, our reports rendering. Our attention in this retreat will therefore focus on how we can consolidate on what we have achieved so far and to ensure improvement and sustainability in the upcoming year.
The acting executive chairman was also at the retreat of the Standards and Compliance Group. Everywhere the acting executive chairman of the FRS went, it was commendation galore and, of course, a charge for greater performance in the year 2013.
How long it will take for you to clear my container?
I dey do am, Oga. Then say we go bring our team.
Our team? Which team?
Custom don't change, Oga. I never say
I want to concern FRS with my business. I will talk to Gaba myself. You are fired.
Oga.
Oga Gaba, which one be this our team again?
The taxpayer identification number now the only way where you fit take do business with Nigerian Customs Service now. You fit process your own free tin, sharp for any FRS office.
Soji.
You don't sack me, no.
Get our team. Now.
This message now from Federal Inland Revenue Service and Nigeria Customs Service.
Welcome back. You are still watching Tax Matters, and our second story today is the story of the National Finance and Awards Ceremony of the 2012 edition of the Federal Intersecondary Schools Debate Championship of the annual President Schools Debate, which was held on December 14, 2012. It was sponsored by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, just as the 2011 edition was sponsored by the FIRS. And quite naturally, the debate topic centered around tax issues. For the final debate of the 2012 edition, the topic was...
The topic, not to forget, the introduction of e-payment and ICT by the federal government is one of the best ways to curb tax leakages in Nigeria. Team Calabar proposing, Team Shagamu opposing.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service introduces the tax card to make all tax payment easy for you. Just follow these 7 easy steps. Obtain your taxpayer identification number, TIN, for free at any FIRS office. Get your tax card from your bank. Log on to www.firsonline.com, then register to obtain a password and access the payment process pages. Fill your TIN number, tax type you're paying, amount payable, and period of payment. Confirm the entries on your transaction. Then print your e-ticket and present at any FIRS office as an evidence of tax paid. It's that simple. For more information, visit www.firs.gov.ng or any FIRS office close to you. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Let us share with you some of the high points of the debate final.
Apparently, in Nigeria today, the introduction of ICT and e-payment has not in any way helped to curb tax revenue in Nigeria due to the lack of technology know-how. In Nigeria today, less than 50% of our population are computer literate. In Nigeria today, when you want to access the internet, when you want to use your electronic devices, what do you see? No connection failed, error in communication, and so on and so forth.
The real reason why there were high rates of tax leakages in Nigeria is not the fact that Nigerians do not want to pay the tax, but because of the stress that they go through in the revenue offices when they want to pay the tax. You see them almost every day standing in long queues waiting for their turns, and most of the time they are harassed by the desk clerks in these revenue offices. But now, due to the introduction of e-payments and ICT, they no longer have any excuse not to pay their taxes. Why? Because the stress has been removed from them. Why? Because there is no longer the risk of having to stand in a long queue just to wait your turn. Now to my next point. It has minimized corruption in the tax system. When tax evasion and tax avoidance are curbed by these e-payments and ICT that have been brought into the economy, realize that corruption in the tax system is minimized. Why? Because the human beings no longer have to hold this physical cash, but now the cash is now being transferred to the government account. The cash is now being transferred to the government account and not being held in the hands of the so-called people that you say are corrupt. And so the corruption in the tax system is minimized. Furthermore, tax payment has been made easier and faster. You can stay at your houses, stay at your offices, and also pay your tax without having to go out there, stand in the queue at the revenue offices.
We all know the increase in the rate of cybercrime, popularly known as Yahoo in Nigeria. If ITC and e-payment is used as a medium of curbing tax revenue leakages in Nigeria, I tell you, the rate at which our Nigerian youth will begin to defraud the Nigerian banks and even the system. We all know that our Nigerian youth even go to the extent of defrauding other foreign investors. They go ahead and defraud foreign banks and their individuals. So what are we all talking about? Why are we saying that ICT and e-payment should be used as a medium of curbing tax revenue leakages just because it's faster? Not all people in Nigeria are computer literate. Only about 45% of Nigerians today are computer literate. So why should we say that it should be brought into the system as a medium of curbing tax revenue leakages? The introduction of e-payment and ICT by the federal government is one of the best ways to curb tax revenue leakages in Nigeria. First of all, before I go into my speech proper, I would like to rebut some of what the second speaker here said. First of all, you talked about ICT and e-payment. Well, I'd like to put it to you that the bone of contention here is not whether it should be brought or not. It is already in existence here in Nigeria. Rather, we are saying, has it helped? What is the tremendous impact it has brought in curbing tax leakages? We are not saying whether it should be brought or not. We don't need your opinion on that. Rather, we are saying it has already been brought, but what are the benefits? And we are here to say that there is enough benefits. With all that we have said, I urge you all to take stand with the affirmative side on the resolution that the introduction of ICT and e-payment by the federal government has helped in curbing the rate, has helped in curbing tax leakages in Nigeria. And before I drop the mic, I will urge you all as good citizens of Nigeria, pay your tax. There is tremendous pride in paying your tax. As a citizen of Nigeria, you ought to pay your tax. It is your civil obligation to your country. It is the only thing your country asks of you. One little thing your country asks of you. Pay your tax. Pay your tax. Don't cheat Nigerians. Don't cheat your nation. I beg your pardon. Don't cheat your nation. Thank you all.
We are all aware of the fact that Nigeria is not technologically developed. The question thus remains, is Nigeria technologically ready and matured to adopt this mode of payment? And if the question is left to me to answer, if at all we have adopted it, I am saying that it should be suspended. We all know that there are hitches in the flow of electricity in Nigeria. And I say this, the adoption of this mode of payment is a colossal waste of time and resources. And if it is not stopped, I tell you this, there will be constant leakages of our tax revenue. Also, it leads to constant defrauding of Nigerian banks. We all know that Nigerians, I'm sorry to say, are negatively talented. We have cyber fraudsters referred to as Yahoo Yahoo, and they can hack into our account. And my opponent is telling me the government is training hackers. How sure are you that those hackers themselves will not start hacking into this account? I leave that question for you to ponder out. We are not saying that it is a burden for Nigerians to pay tax, but I am saying that Nigerians should stop using the mode of e-payments and ICT. And if we do that, I tell you this, tax will be efficiency used in Nigeria. We should not divert from our old way, but rather go back to our way.
It beats my imagination to hear someone saying that the leaders of this nation are corrupt. Yes, they are corrupt, of course, but in the tax aspect, don't you realize that the leaders of this nation also pay tax? Well, I guess you were not properly informed that even from the presidency down to a civil servant, they all pay tax for the development of this country.
Nigeria is not ready, actually, for the use of e-payment and ICT. Why then should we use this when we're not technologically ready? When you're not ready for this, if we use this, then the fund of our nation, our revenue, the taxes we sweated to pay, we go on to fraudulent businessmen, people who don't deserve it, people who take it at our expense. Then what happens? Our economical development falls drastically. Nigeria falls from the League of Developing Nations to underdeveloped nations. We can't take this risk. No, the use of e-payment and ICT has not in any way helped to curb tax revenue leakages. It has added to it, it has boosted it, it has fueled it, and therefore it is not and can never be the best way to curb tax revenue leakages.
Thank you. What a climax. What a climax. It was odd, I tell you.
At the end of it all, winners emerged. Federal Government Girls College Calabar was adjudged the overall best winner, while Federal Government Girls College Shagamu was the first runner-up. While from the earlier preliminaries, Federal Government Boys College Kaduna emerged second runner-up. The young shall grow. But then, why is the Federal Inland Revenue Service sponsoring the President's School Debate? Mr. Emmanuel Obeta is the director in charge of Corporate Communications and Liaison Department at the FRS headquarters in Abuja, and he represented the executive chairman at the debate finals. How would you rate the standard of this year's President's School Debate?
Honestly speaking, I'm quite excited. You know, the quality of discussion among the students were quite impressive. So from what I saw, their level of information, their level of knowledge, their level of understanding of the issues. For instance, you're talking about e-payment and ICT, and you're listening to young students in the ranges of 14, 15, and 16 discussing it, and then you're quite, their understanding of the issues are quite impressive, quite impressive. Their presentation, their diction, the language, very quite, very impressive. And so the teachers and the organizers must have done a very good job in teaching them, in lecturing them, and in coaching them to be able to discuss such topics, because they are not everyday topics. When you're talking about e-payment, for instance, as one of the things, being used for taxation, is not an everyday, and for their age group to understand such issues is quite impressive.
It's the second year running now that the FRS has sponsored this President's School Debate, and by virtue of that, the topics have revolved around taxation. Why are you doing this?
Basically, we are targeting the youths, because one, we recognize that the youths are the adults of tomorrow. And then if these youths understand what we're talking about taxation, if they understand what their civic responsibility to their country is, what is required in developing this country, if they become patriotic, then the battle is already won. You're already grooming advocates who will go ahead and spread the message of taxation, just like we have the Student Tax Advocacy Initiative for schools. So we're targeting all age groups. The adults today are the people paying taxes. The youths today are the people who will pay taxes tomorrow. So if they do not understand what you're talking about, then the whole essence is lost. But if they understand and appreciate it now, it will be an easy thing, because when they grow up, they already know what you're talking about, why you need to talk about it, why you're talking about the different kinds of tax, how you pay tax. So it will be to be mission accomplished, because you will already have educated them. So that's basically our interest. We recognize, and again, you see in the family structure, you find that the children are very big influencers in the family. Anything a child believes in, he finds a way of making the parents believe in it or get to listen to it. So when they go home after having listened or participated in a debating about taxation, they will go and practice it at home and tell their daddies and mummies what they have learned. And that way spreading the message of taxation. And they will also become a conscience of the society. So when their parents are not paying their taxes, they will be the ones to remind them, Daddy, have you paid your tax? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing this? This is what I learned in school. Remember the debating session I took? So we are galvanizing the whole society, raising the level of consciousness and awareness on the issue of taxation to ensure that we achieve the objective of making every taxpayer compliant.
Elder Dari Oritu is the national coordinator of the President's School Debate Nigeria. How would you rate the standard of the debates this year?
In fact, this year's debate is a special debate because the standard was so high that we can compete with anybody in the world. And if this set of students, travel with us to any international competition, they will bring the trophy to Nigeria.
Where do we go from here? What do we expect in 2013 from you?
Well, by the grace of God, 2013, last year winner will be representing Nigeria in Turkey.
2011 winners.
2011 winners will represent Nigeria in Turkey. And during that program, the federal government has set up a committee to bid for Nigeria to host the World School Debate. Whoa. So the team is going to bid on behalf of government.
Looking at what year?
2016. Because the bidding of a World School Debate is 2 years. So we have already have a lineup of countries that's going to host. So Nigeria turn, if you are able to succeed, is going to be 2016.
We wish the Nigerian team the best of luck in their bid. And we say once again, the young shall grow and Nigeria shall grow. All dutiful taxpayers will grow in their personal and business lives. And all viewers of this program will grow in all departments in 2013 and beyond. We thank you most sincerely for watching, and once again, Happy New Year.